Hi there, you're with English Coach again, and I'd like to wish you a Happy New Year. Today, this video is about the pain of improvement and how improvement requires from us a certain quantity of effort and, unfortunately, pain. When I talk about this kind of thing, the pain of improvement, I'm talking about every aspect of life. If you think of life in this case in an abstract way, for example, as a pie, and within that pie you have pieces, and each of those pieces represents a different part of your life. So within those pieces you will have relationships, you will have financial life, you will have your professional life, you will have your romantic life, you will have your health and exercise life, and you will have your spiritual life or hobby life as well, and maybe two or three others that are as important or maybe even more important for you. When we talk about the pain of improvement, we're talking about those aspects within that pie, right? And you could choose any single one of those aspects of life and find that to improve you need to sacrifice, put in effort, and feel some kind of discomfort. A lot of people these days are making these fast videos about how you can get quick improvement and become the best at what you do, or have exactly what you want when you want it. And I think they've constructed quite an attractive lie, because the truth of the matter is great things are achieved over time with effort and sacrifice. Let's take one thing that I love to talk about, and it continues to be a huge challenge in my life, because I have people in my family that I would like to connect to more, that I don't connect to enough with these days. So relationships, I cite relationships today as one of those aspects, or one of those pieces of the pie of life, if you like, that requires a lot of effort and pain. One of the reasons why I do that is because I am imperfect. I have problems, probably just as you do, in reality, exactly just as you do, because everybody has some kinds of problems, and problems that they find it difficult to call challenges. Okay, and in this case, in this video, I'd like to express the fact that relationships do often require us to step back and not just concede because we think that the other person is misunderstood, or their point of view is wrong, or their perception is wrong, or their belief or viewpoint is wrong. No. Often we need to see the world as a place where if you really want to survive, you can't have that deep-rooted belief that somehow you're always right. And that's so easy for me to say, and that's why this video is about pain, because it's easy for me to say you need to assume the fact that often you think you're right, but actually you're wrong. Actually in many cases you're wrong, or what you choose to focus on is correct or accurate in terms of the facts, but what the other person is focusing on is not exactly within that question, or it's just outside of the boundary of your truth, so to speak. So therefore they have another point of view. It doesn't exactly beat your point of view, but the ideologies clash behind those ideas. That's why there's a lot of fights around religion and politics, because the ideologies or the what should be ideal is the thing that's at stake. And so often the places you find very, very strong conflicts are in religious families where the children or one of the parents or a sibling decided that they no longer want to be part of the religion because they see some kind of hypocrisy. In that case, the family has not accepted the decision of the child or the sibling or the parent or whatever. And they've gone ahead and blamed them for not participating or not being a part of that. And therefore, there's a kind of a separation, and then there's this relationship of blame and this interaction of, oh, you lot are holier than thou, and then to the other person it's, oh, you have chosen not to belong to us. Why would you do that? Why would you sabotage this thing we've got going here? And actually, both parties are wrong, and it takes a lot of pain and discomfort for people to admit that they are wrong and that the other person has value, no matter if they agree with that or not. And so often in life, we lose people, we lose friends, and we lose family because our beliefs are more valuable to us than that person. Now, I'm not talking about the cases where the person is actually sabotaging the family and stealing from the family or committing some kind of crime against the family, like abuse. That kind of thing, I think, is where you can strategically shut the gate on the person for some time or indefinitely if their nature is, in that case, unchangeable, because you can't change other people. If you find out someone's abusing another member of the family, it's good to be able to completely exclude that person or make sure that they cannot continue that behavior within the family. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about beliefs and viewpoints. I'm talking about a false sense of pride, a false sense of honor. People see a lot of value in pride and honor, which they associate with their beliefs, and therefore they associate their beliefs as being stronger than the beliefs of the other people in the family. And then there's a clash. So relationships can bring up a lot of pain. Can you notice that? Probably you can. Probably there's at least one person in your family that you don't really get along with. But it's interesting to see if you continue to stay open and continue to give that person a chance, or you shut them off completely. And it's not necessarily a crime to shut someone off, but I think it's a crime to think that you are more correct than the other person, that your opinion or your beliefs or your perception of life is more adequate or more accurate than the other person. Because when you find out that you're wrong, the sensation is much worse. I mean, you can cradle your beliefs and tell yourself that you're always right, but generally we are wrong. Okay? So that basically concludes what I want to talk about in relationships, and I will sum it up in a nutshell for you and just tell you, be suspicious of your beliefs. Don't ever think that what you believe is completely true, and be suspicious of that sense of pride and that sense of, I am so important, my beliefs are more important. Be suspicious of that, because often it's your ego talking and it's sabotaging your relationships. And sometimes it's good to feel the pain of being wrong, feel that discomfort. You don't always have to admit it straight off. You don't need to tell the other person, oh, I'm wrong. But connect with what they're saying that's true for you. I think that's the solution there. So I'll just put a full stop on that and get to the next item for today, which is health and exercise. Health and exercise is a necessity nowadays. We don't just do it for a long life. I love to think about the fact that by exercising or eating correctly, I'm extending my life. It does give me a sense of comfort to know that. But as I told you in the first part of our video today, comfort can often be a little dangerous. Anyhow, back to the point, health and exercise is not easily attained. It's not easily attained. And the question is, why is health and exercise not easily attained? Because health and exercise, again, requires sacrifices. What do you need to sacrifice to have a good diet? To have a good eating regime, as they say here in Brazil? Well, one of the things that you need to do, and that's going to feel like a burden, is change what you're eating. But one of the things that I've been picking up on from a lot of experts in the last 5 years is that controlling the amount of food that you eat is often a good strategy to bring down the quantity. Okay, bring down the quantity and focus more on those things that you're eating that are healthy, and focus less on those things that are unhealthy in your diet. A lot of people like to go to a nutrologist or a nutritionist and spend $1,000 or $2,000 on figuring out what their best plan could be. Notice how much harder it is to change a food habit in your house, in your fridge, on your dining table. How much harder is it for you to suddenly say, I'm not going to consume this product anymore. I'm going to be the kind of person who doesn't eat this food anymore. And I'm going to focus on eating this food and that food. I can tell you from personal experience, fighting the good fight for 6 or 7 years now, that it's really not easy. And in some cases, you're going to lose the fight. But if you're continuing to sacrifice, if you're continuing to challenge yourself and feel the pain of seeing a beautiful snack in the grocery aisle, in the supermarket aisle, I should say, and not throwing it into your trolley or your basket, well, that's where it starts. That's where the sacrifice starts. It's all about what your eyes are doing when they meet the product on the shelf, and whether you can give yourself the excuse, oh, this week it's okay, or today it's going to be fine, and then let yourself pass by that item without putting it into your trolley and without actually grabbing at it, not letting the impulse win over you. And that it's not exactly a feeling of pain, it's more of a feeling of discomfort. And it's something that repeats itself thousands of times before it becomes easier. Some people say that a habit takes about a month, and a behavior takes 3 months, and a lifestyle takes 6 months. To be honest with you, I think that this habit of selecting the right food at the supermarket, it's more of a 6-month plan. It's something you want to be able to perfect over 6 months. There's no fast solutions in this world, especially if you want to live a long time. You know, people that want a fast solution want to die fast as well. Notice that. When they invented that expression, so if your friend told you to jump off a cliff, would you jump off a cliff? Or if your friends were jumping off a cliff, would you follow them? I guess the second example is a little better. And I think that really describes perfectly the herd behavior of most people, and most people's opting out of home discipline and opting into some kind of amazing nutritionist plan that they're not necessarily going to obey. It just looks good in your hand as a list. It looks good as a conversation feature to tell your friends, oh, I'm seeing this nutritionist now. He or she is wonderful. They've given me these things to eat like kale and broccoli and radishes this kind of these miracle foods. And but you turn around to the same person and you ask them, so do you eat those foods? And the person says, oh, hell no, I don't eat those foods. I just know what's good for me. I can eat those foods sometimes on a plate. But then on the weekend, I tend to go back to my Pringles and my cake and my pancakes and my waffles and my donuts and my whatever. And so you see, the whole process is kind of bogus. And that you see, without pain in the process, there is no process. So probably some of you are saying at this point of the video, so you've given two examples. One was relationships and one was health. They have nothing to do with each other. But I'll leave you with one thought as I end this video for you today, and that is, often we eat with family and often we eat with friends, and eating is something that we do socially, and that's where we create our bad habits to start with. So just reflect on that until you see me next time on English Coach, and I wish you a happy 2022, and please don't despair that life is full of pain. It's not about the pain, it's about how we perceive pain. And hopefully at some point I'll get to that in one of my following videos. See you next time.